Hello, my name is Jeff Hardee. I am a consciousness researcher and practitioner. I have a bachelor's degree in religious studies from Arizona State University, and I've currently started a doctorate program at Ubiquity University in the School of Science and Consciousness. I'm studying, amongst other things, Fachi, and I'm here in Italy to go to a conference, a 3-day conference, and experience it for the second time. I did some training with another group a year ago, and I've been training individually. And then I've begun to contact with this group and wanted to see the next level to experience what the Fachi is like and what the next stages are. So I can speak about the subject in two ways, as a practitioner and as a researcher. As a practitioner, this is very unique in terms of knowledge that is available for the modern world. It's something that has been put aside and somewhat secret in many years, until you could say at least until the last 80s, since the 1980s. And it's slowly beginning to be practiced in the West. And the Neigong school is one of the first schools that is had the training from the East, has been adopted by a Western teacher. That Western teacher has begun to teach other Western teachers, and it is continuing forward. So as for the feeling, the experience for it, what I have experienced is what I would call multiple types of energy, felt as a type of electricity. So briefly, I could describe this. In terms of the Master Zhou, in his energy emission, I've experienced his energy emission in two different sequences. And he is capable, through his training, since he's been training for many years, since he is able to collect energy within his body, he is able then to control and emit the energy that he collects in an external way towards patients or for other practitioners to help them in their practice. So the feeling can be, and it depends on how he is modulating this, and he's able to modulate this at will, from either a feeling of a smooth, slick field when he places his hands on the Danshin area. It almost feels like a slight, very thin shielding, but an electrical shielding. Then also when he is projecting the Fachi more towards opening up meridians within the fingers, the feeling that I call is like liquid electricity. The idea is that you have meridians associated with your fingers, and since modern individuals aren't doing this practice, the meridians are weaker or closed off. And during this training, Master Zhou is pushing the energy into each individual finger at one time, and then into your fingers as a whole. And it feels like, if I could say, a strong hose of electricity, almost as if it's water coming out and is going into your fingers. I could say one other thing, and I could go on because I'm an academic, but during my training last year, when the first day, it was a 5-day training, the energy, when it was pushed into my individual fingers, there were slightly different effects, and you could feel where the energy would move directly on your hand. And I know that with proper equipment and with proper time, this is going to be measurable. It's not a belief, it's not a feeling. It's similar to as if you suddenly got touched by an electric eel, or you put your finger in a socket. You will know. There is no doubt that you are experiencing electricity. But in this slightly funny story, Master Zhou was pushing the energy on the first day through my fingers, and when he got to my ring finger, the energy moved all the way down and stopped at this knuckle. And he stopped, and he looked at the other teacher, and he pushed the energy again, and the energy moved down and stopped at that knuckle. And he looks at me and he's like, "What's going on? What's the problem?" Like, I don't know, I need more training. So I did more training that day, and then the next day when he did it again, he pushed the energy and did his sequence. It moved from this area, moved past that knuckle, and moved down over into my wrist. You can feel a flow of electricity moving down your finger, down through the inside of your arm, following the traditional Chinese TCM meridian channels down a certain way. And as progressive days went on, the blockage that I had at that time was slowly cleared. So it's a very unique experience. I just was able to witness other students in the Neigong school do a test where they, after many years of their practice, were able to demonstrate their ability to do the external energy. And that's fascinating to see the progression from student to teacher in being able to pass on this ability. All right, so for this period of time that I'm here for the 3 days, it's the first time that I've met Master Costantino, and I have to say it's very interesting to meet somebody in person. I have to say, coming and being here on this third day and meeting the master directly, it's a very pleasant experience. He's very humble as a person. He's very thoughtful. He gave quite a lot of explanation of the method. He actually mapped it out entirely for the students today specifically. And he emphasizes the fact that this is something that he's developed over 20 years and slowly has done a few tweaks, but is something that he's found to be effective from his teachers as well. And that he's presenting everything that he's learned related specifically to Neigong, and is willing to invite the students to experiment. And if they want to go and study with another teacher, feel free to go experiment with that teacher, and then come back to the school and bring that knowledge, and let's see if we need to tweak anything. So I found the experience so far to be quite refreshing. It's not like some people, when they come to a school that's like a Kung Fu school, they may think, oh, this is extremely hierarchical and there's quite a lot of rules and regulations, and you can't speak to the teacher without permission and things like that. And that's not what I'm experiencing here at all. I think the way in which Costantino is approaching his school is very inviting, and it brings quite a lot of people. There's quite a number of people from multiple parts of the world here, and I expect this to continue to grow because of its openness, and everyone is getting along. We had a great dinner last night. It went on quite a long time because everybody was chatting quite a lot. So I'm happy to report, as somebody who's first met Master Costantino, that this is an experience at least worth checking out if you're interested in these kind of arts. And academically, I have to say that it is worth further study. It's a treasure trove of quite a number of areas for my fellow academics to look into.
Yes, I am Carioni Alfiero. I have had several accidents on my shoulder about biking and sports. And over time, I couldn't raise my shoulder anymore. Right now, I had a treatment with Master Zhou, important. I've known him for a long time. I respect him so much. And today I had the treatment on the shoulder, and I see that the hand can reach all the way to the other side, the way this one can reach it. I feel good, and I hope I'm sure I found the right way to have a continuation. Great.
So my thoughts on Master Zhou. I've mentioned that I've met him essentially twice. I first met him last year in October in Sweden during an event with another group. And the first time meeting somebody who you hear about having these abilities is always, a bit of a question. What am I going to experience? What is it going to be like? I'm happy to report that both that time and this time meeting Master Zhou again, he is extremely friendly for someone who if you approach these arts and you see the demonstrations, you would think that that person may, in some ways, place themselves on a pedestal, but he does not. He's extremely friendly. He's very inviting and welcoming as well, and I would have to say unassuming. So unless you've seen the demonstrations or experienced this Neigong that he's able to pass on yourself, you would walk past him at any time. I was joking to some people, both at the last event and at this event, that if I were in an elevator with Master Zhou, I would have no idea that he has had these many years of training and holding this treasure house of human ability that he and his temple are able to preserve, this Neigong or this Fachi. And once you get to know him, and then of course once you get to experience the emission of the qi, then your mind opens up to, I think what he is trying to demonstrate is that humans have many more capabilities than we may be aware of at the beginning. A lot of the things that we've heard of as mythology, in terms of at least this Fachi, I can say as someone who's a practitioner and as a researcher that it's not purely myth. There's fact here. There's data to be collected. I personally am working on a research project to collect this data, and it will be published at some point. So I know that it's reflective of the fact that he is willing to teach many types of people from many places in the world, and no longer, it seems to me, that this knowledge is purely secluded and put aside for only the select few. Instead, this is, in my mind, an inheritance of our humanness, and is something that human beings can do with the right training, with the right emphasis on health, with the correct direction from the senior students and teachers. Then with dedication and practice, it is something that quite a number of human beings can replicate. Seeing that he himself has learned it as a child, and he's now taught several other teachers who have learned it as well, and then they are continuing to teach those. This is something that can be replicated and is something that is part of our human story. So I'm very happy to have met Master Zhou. So in terms of my thoughts for the ATS Institute, I'm actually feeling quite fortunate to have run into Giacomo and his institute, because he himself, in conversations I've had with him, is also very open in examining quite a number of things that are available in health sciences and in physical sciences, in biophysical motion, and in trying to find the connections between Western approaches and Eastern approaches, and using, of course, the scientific approach to then analyze the things that are available in many fields. So I'm excited to continue that relationship and to see how much together we can do to learn more about the Fachi and this Neigong process. But there's also things that I've seen in his books and online that I would like to learn that they're currently researching as well. So I'm very happy to have met all the individuals for ATS Institute. I find it to be quite a breath of fresh air in terms of the business process and the scientific process. So as for my thoughts on Zhou Andrea, he's the person who actually introduced me to Master Cosentino. I first heard about this group through the other group that I've been a part of since last year, that there was an Italian group that was also working under Master Zhou and learning and teaching the Fachi. And then I found that Zhou Andrea had a website, which was very useful since I'm from the US. and I can't come to Italy on a regular basis. And he has videos available and quite a lot of YouTube content for trying to explain what this Neigong school is attempting to relay to the world. And so I've had a little bit of time since a couple months to engage with Joshi Andrea, and then also I've had a couple lunches and dinners with him now, and I hope he's not embarrassed, but I have to say that in the YouTube videos and meeting him in person, what strikes me is that he's very much a modern mystic in his approach, in how he is adopting the Taoist view and the Neigong teachings, and looking to see how that is applicable philosophically and ethically and socially. That this teaching is not just, even though this is actually extremely important, it's not just for your inner health. It's not just also to do demonstrations. It's actually meant, and he emphasizes this, and I agree, it's actually meant to change a person to become a better person. That going through this process and this training is a staged approach for self-examination, and that as you collect qi yourself through following the program, that it will begin to allow you to manifest awareness of yourself on many levels, and then give you the time, because it's a graduated program, to work through that. And the conversations that I've had with Joshi Andrea have been about some of those subjects. How should this be taught to the world, or how free should people be to go outside the program, or what the emphasis is of the program. Is the emphasis just to be able to hoard energy and then only show off? No, clearly in Joshi Andrea's viewpoint, just like many other modern mystics, it's meant for self-improvement. And the energy demonstrations that you're able to do is just a byproduct, and the emphasis is on being an authentic person. So I'm looking forward to exploring that with him.